Herman, welcome to RadioScreamer.
Yes, hello.
How's everything going?
Well, everything has gone really good so far.
Okay, now you're on this book tour for your autobiography, and speaking of scorpions, how's that going?
Yeah, this is going really well. I'm really surprised about how many fans come and how many new fans I make, especially young people. A few days ago, I went to university and introduced my book there and played also live, and a lot of young people were there. It was quite amazing for me to see that too.
Now, before we get started, I know there's a question that everybody wants to ask. Do authors have as many groupies as rock stars? Well, maybe I'm the only one that wants to ask that question. And are they the same caliber as rock star groupies?
Well, listen, groupies were always there. They will be always there. I think it's a good thing for the industry. It's a good outlet, so to speak.
Now, it is amazing the number of young kids that are, gravitating towards, the Scorpions and other bands of that era.
Well, this is what surprises me the most. It's a pleasant surprise to see all those young kids nowadays, but I said to you on my book tour, when I spoke to those young kids at the university, they told me, Herman, we grew up with your music. Our parents played nothing else in their houses than Scorpions.
Right.
That made me laugh. They knew the songs, and funny enough, they were the ones who bought the books, for their parents for Christmas, right? For Mom, can you write for that? The big Scorpions fans. It was actually for me quite funny to see this eye to eye with the fans. So I know now that with Scorpions we influenced probably 2 or 3 generations by now.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I notice you've got a birthday coming up, November 18th, right?
Yes, this is my birthday. So as you know, I'm a Scorpion also by Zodiac.
Yeah, and that's kind of a coincidence. Had I known, is that some sort of a karma thing that you're a Scorpio and you join the Scorpions and have sold 32 million albums?
Hey, listen, maybe, who knows? I know that I'm a Scorpion, and also Matthias Japs, our guitar player, he's also a Scorpion. He's born on the 25th of October.
Okay.
So there are 2 Scorpions in the band, so... I think, maybe it's a karma thing. Who knows?
Yeah, had I known that, I would have named my band the Sagittarians instead of Screamer, but and then I'd be out on this book tour.
No, they were already called the Scorpions when I joined them in 1977. I think Rudolph gave them the name back in the late 60s, maybe 69 around that time.
So now you've been in the U.S. since mid-October, correct?
Yeah. That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and how many cities have you hit with the book?
How many stops did I do with the book?
Correct.
Oh, let me think. I went basically, as I said, over California, Nevada. So I went up to Phoenix and to Tucson in Arizona, Vegas 2 times on this trip. Yesterday, finished in Las Vegas at the Hard Rock Cafe, and before I made a television appearance there, with Fox TV, and also visit to Andrew Clay. And so for me, it was basically just California. Now I go back into England and Germany, and then I have also touring commitments.
Yeah, I was going to say, I noticed you stayed in all the warm and sunny places here in the United States.
Yes, I like the warm weather, and I don't think now in the winter it makes sense now to go on tour in Boston and New York, where everything is under snow.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, what prompted you to write this book?
Well, as it says in the title, and speaking of Scorpions, of course I speak about my 20 years with the Scorpions, which I call the golden years. There were the years, which show you when you read it, were the years where the Scorpions conquered America, conquered the world. We were an unknown band from Germany, and everybody laughed at us when we told them we're going to play in America. This was, in those days, unthinkable thing, But we are, until this day, the only German band who made it internationally big. And until this day, the name Scorpions all over the world. And I think no other German achieved that yet. So for us, the dream really became true.
I remember seeing you guys here at the US Festival in Southern California, and I think that was '83. 600,000 people showed up that day.
Yes, I know.
Do you remember that show?
Yes, of course. We have it on the cover, and when you look at the cover of my book, this is the photo taken from the stage, from the view, from my drums, towards the people, and you see those 600,000 people in front of you. As far as your eyes could see, you saw people.
Yeah, I was one of them. I was one of those little dots in the crowd. That was a great day.
And I think it was a great concert we played that day.
Oh yeah, legendary. I mean, you just look at the names on that roster, and it's incredible to look back at it now.
Yeah, it was pure magic. It's very true.
Now, have you had any response from your former bandmates regarding the book?
Well, so far, nobody phoned me, and nobody complained about it, and so I have no idea, to be honest with you.
No news is good news.
No, exactly. No news is good news. So I don't know if they read it or whatever, so I hope so.
Now, do you have a favorite story in the book that you recall?
Well, there are many, maybe what was a good story to tell is how Blackout got together, because one of those nights, in the early 80s, we played in Idaho a show with Judas Priest and also with Def Leppard. That was the opening act. We played in the middle, especially guest and Judas Priest headline. But after that show, Rudy got really drunk. So I'm watching this. Police cars arresting a guy who at first said, he looks like Woodward. He got lost in the parking lot, so they thought he was just looking at the shop centers there. Anyway, I went down and I said to them, listen, this is our guitar player. Just let him go. Everything is fine. We're staying in this hotel over there. So when we walked in the lobby, in those days it was like a motel, and the guys from Def Leppard, two of them and two from Judas Priest watching TV, and Rudolph just grabbed a beer somewhere in the lobby, put it into the TV, and went upstairs to sleep, So he had no idea what happened to him the next day, and I said to him, what you had was a blackout. And so basically this is how the song got together, because of the story.
Now, I understand that you wrote, were you the primary lyricist for the band?
Well, let's put it this way. When I joined the band in 1977, I was the one who spoke the best English in the band. So when they figured that out, they said to me, why don't you write this for He's a Woman, She's a Man, for the song? And then, I had this idea, which happened in Paris because we were on a promotional trip. And one night we got into the red light district and we seen this beautiful girl there. So when Rudolph drove over with the car, I put down the windows, and in the window comes this dark voice, hi guys, how are you? Where are you from? Germany, And so it was a guy, he's a woman, she's a man, got like this together. So I had the idea and started to write this song, and that was my first one. And then from then we made Love Drive, and then I wrote the song Complete on there, Another Piece of Meat. As you know, and Don't Make No Promises They Can Keep came afterwards on the next album, Make It Real with the Animal Magnetism album. So more and more songs came. Then Blackout came, and then, of course, Rocky Like a Hurricane. Songs like Passion Rules the Game and Dynamite, and just to name a few, Arizona. So I started to write more and more. Yeah, I did.
Now, I read some of the reviews on the book, and so I want to just do a little word association. I'm just going to throw out some subjects to you and let you comment on them. First of all, early days with the Scorpions.
Well, the earliest days I had with the Scorpions was the album Taken by Force, with the song He's a Woman, She's a Man on it, So great memories, Also working for the first time with Dieter Dirks, the producer.
Mm-hmm. And how were those early days in terms of playing, touring, struggling?
Well, the early days, with the album Taken by Force, there was basically hardly any work for us in Germany until then. We played the occasional gigs, and then we made the album, and then suddenly we got the opportunity to perform in Japan. And that really broke the band and got the ears long in America. So suddenly management in America was interested in us. That was the early days, started really with Taken by Force, yeah. Woody Walsh was still in the band then.
Okay, how about now the big days touring, the big tours that you were on?
Well, the big tourings all happened really in the 80s. As you know, the band became more and more famous with each album in the 80s, and so the tours became bigger, the arenas became bigger, and by 84 the band reached as you know, where they could fill a stadium, you know, which we did, as you know, later on also together with Van Halen, the Monsters of Rock Tour in 88. Mm-hmm. So I would say the whole 80s were basically where we played the most people.
Okay. The music business.
Nowadays or then?
Both. The difference between then and now.
Well, I think then, you know, music business, for example, the record company looked at the band like a long-term investment. They looked at you like, let's make 10 albums with those guys and sell the albums, make a lot of money. Now the industry is much faster in the turnover. For example, the show like X Factor, there's many, many candidates, but only one can make it, and the guy who makes it is only there maybe a star for a year. Then the next candidate is there. So the turnover is much faster.
Right. Russia.
Russia, wonderful country. I was completely wrong in my attitude towards Russia in my early youth days. When I came there for the first time, I only saw people with an open and a big heart make a huge welcome to us. It was a really pleasant surprise.
Okay. Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi, a long-time friend, you know. As you know, Rudolph and myself, we found him, so to speak, you know, through his manager, Doug McKee. And he was our opening act in 1984. And as you know, a year later, you know, he was one of the biggest stars in America.
Right. Do you stay in touch with him?
The last time I seen him was actually at a concert, and every time we see each other, he hasn't changed. He's a down-to-earth guy, you know, and I like him very much, and I hope he likes me too.
Okay, how about leaving the Scorpions?
Well, this is a long time ago for me. I did this in 1996.
Yeah,
After being there for 20 years, I figured that in those days, you know, that the highest points were reached. We let everybody know worldwide what we could do. And for me, a time came where I just wanted to do something else. As you know, I had the opportunity to do Monaco Records with Prince Albert at the time. So I think I thought after 20 years, now it's time just to do something new.
Sure. Your future?
My future? Well, I hope it will be good. But I think right now we're going to do the book tour. Planning right now to do something with Michael Schenker and also maybe with Francis Buchholz again and maybe also with Rudolph again because he's on a farewell tour with Scorpions. So let's see what happens out of all those things. So
any plans on, do you see another book in you?
Another book?
Yeah, do you see another book?
No, for the moment, you know, I think I'd like to get this book translated in any language worldwide, you know, and promote it. And then I see how good it is, you know, and that will make me do the decision to do the next one.
Herman, I've heard some great things about the book. I hear it's very, very humorous, and
it's very funny. It really is.
And I do look forward to reading it myself very, very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Herman Rarebell, former drummer from the Scorpions, for being on RadioScreamer today. Herman, anything you want to say in goodbyes today?
Well, I'd like to say goodbye to all the fans and thank you for all the many years being faithful, you know, keeping alive. Thank you for that. And, you know, I hope, you know, you won't be disappointed with the book, you know. If you have a chance, read it, you know. I think it's very funny, and I hope to come and play to you very soon all live. So have a good one, and see you soon.
Great. Thank you.
Good one, and see you soon.